Hi, my name is Brad Smith, and this is my wife,
Tracy Smith. We're with Three Forks Farms. We're here on our farm in Pall Mall, Tennessee. It's a valley north of Jamestown. We raise beef and chicken on pasture with no added antibiotics, hormones, steroids. We do not manipulate their light cycles or life cycles in any way. We just let them graze and free range as close to nature as is possible.
Yeah, after graduating college, we had spent several years in animal science. We decided to use that knowledge on our own farm to increase the productivity. We started with the registered herd of cattle and selling herd bulls and replacement heifers to local commercial cattlemen. And then having the economy take a downturn, we were left with more and more cattle not being sold. And as a side note, we had more and more people wanting beef. And then as the economy got a little bit worse, we had people not only wanting just whole beef or half beef, but just wanting a few particular cuts. And at the time, we didn't have the ability to do that. And then we got with USDA and some other officials and made that happen, where we can have just ground beef sold or ribeye steak sold, and we still do the whole or half beef amounts if people want that. And then, but going to local farmers markets and things, we had people asking us about other meats besides the beef. And then that's when we got the idea for the chicken being raised, outdoors, free range, and being processed on our own farm. And that's how that came about.
This is a very sustainable product. I feel like we have a very low impact on the environment. The chickens here can be here this month. Next month, if they're gone, there's no trace of them. You might find a feather here and there in the grass, but otherwise you're just gonna have green grass because the chickens have fertilized the grass as they are moved in the tractors along the grass, where we move them every day. They are putting their natural fertilizer droppings all over the grass, and then we graze cattle in the same area. So the cattle benefit from the nitrogen, which helps the grass to grow, and the cattle harvest that grass, and there's just a very small footprint.
We usually get the birds anywhere from maybe 2 to 3 days old, and when we get those in, we have already a stall in the barn, a pretty good sized stall set up with fresh bedding, water and feed and heat lamps. That way they get into their nice cozy environment, and they'll stay there for about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And then we transition them from a smaller stall that they originally are in to a larger stall, and they'll be there up to 4, maybe 5 weeks of age. And then they get transitioned outside into the tents that you see.
When they're moved outside, they're on fresh grass, and the UV light kills a lot of the bacteria that would affect them. So we move the tents every day, and that keeps them in a good, clean environment. They can pick grass, they can eat bugs, and do things that make chickens happy. So I would like people to think about the value of shopping locally. It's a value for your family because the products are fresh, they're sustainable, the quality is excellent because of the way the product is produced. It's very tasty and healthy, and there's also value in supporting local businesses because it helps your community. When you buy from a local farm, you're supporting a mom and a dad and kids. You are actually funding girls going to dance camp and little boys having karate lessons and things like that go back into another local business. Farming is not just about the animals. It's not just about a tractor or a crop. It's more about a legacy. And to me, that legacy represents leaving the next generation better off than you are in different ways. More educated, more diverse, more environmentally conscious, more sustainable. So it was very important for us to come back home and bring that knowledge with us, and that desire to impart that into this area as well as into our own family. It was very important for us to share that with our children and other children and adults in this area.
In our family, we have a daughter that's the oldest, and our son's the youngest. And they get real excited in the summertime when we are getting the chicks in. They'll get in the truck with us and get the chicks, and then when we get them here to the barn, they love unloading the chicks and then placing them out of the box into the shavings, and then they'll come out and help feed and look after them, make sure the temperature's right. And then when it comes time to get them out of the barn and into the field, they'll help by grabbing them up and holding them and petting them and putting them in the tents or taking them outside. They really like that.
Cows and horses, that's all. And chickens and Darby.
Darby's your red heeler?
He's my puppy. And the chickens and the roosters. They're over there in the back. You can go see them in a minute. They're funny.